Honor, this is the state of South Carolina versus Taylor Nicole Thompson. It is a waiver indictment as well as waiving the drug analysis. 2023 GS 140056. She's charged with possession of heroin. She is representing herself. She came in on Friday for her initial appearance and we worked out a deal. She wishes to plead guilty. There's a recommendation as written on the Senate sheet.
Okay. Ms. Thompson, you want to plead guilty?
Yes, sir.
You understand you have a right to an attorney. If you want me to appoint you one, I will, but you can represent yourself if you want to proceed.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
On September 11th, 2022, officers with the Manning Police Department responded to 2010 Paxville Highway, which is Walmart here in Clarendon County. The call came in as a shoplifting. A female subject was detained. That subject was Ms. Thompson. She was asked to empty her pockets, and in reference to the shoplifting, she had some syringes there. They also found a small metal box located under her left breast that had a clear baggie, and it had a brown powder substance that was believed to be heroin in the amount of 0.6 grams. She did admit to law enforcement that she has a heroin problem and is charged with.
That's not correct, ma'am. She told me that correct? You had it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I find as a factual basis, your plea is really voluntary and then you still have a problem?
Oh, no, sir. That is stopped all of that.
Okay. All right. Sentence is 60 days or $100. And you got 90 days to pay.
Yes, sir.
If you don't pay, you got service in.
Thank you.
And
Yes,
if
sir.
you rather service it instead of paying, you can do that too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay.
This is the state of South Carolina versus Noah Blaine Chandler on indictment number 2022 GS 140112. He's charged with ill treatment or torture of animals. He's represented by Scott Robinson from the Public Defender's Office. He wishes to plead guilty. There is a recommendation in this case. He's pleading as charged, but the recommendation is a suspended YOA.
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Chandler, you want to plead guilty?
Yes, sir.
You have enough time to talk to your lawyer.
Yes, sir.
You satisfied with him?
Yes, sir.
You understand this carries up to 5 years in prison?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And a $5,000 fine?
Yes, sir.
You wanted the influence of alcohol or drugs today?
That's
You went to trial with state and had to prove you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt to all 12 jurors. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
If you want to appeal this, you gotta do it in 10 days.
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, before I get into the facts, it just dawned on me, I copied the penalty on the Senate sheet from the red book. It's outdated, I haven't made that correction yet. It's actually not less than 180 days and up to 5 years with the $5,000 fine.
Judge, I have advised, in our discussion, I advised him of that.
Okay, and I should have told you that. You understand this?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, on or about December 20th, 2021, Mr. Chandler had a dog. He threw the dog in the hole and shot multiple times at the dog once it was in the hole. The report indicates 5 shots, which ultimately killed the dog. This occurred at 4568 Barano Road in the Barano area of Clarendon County. Mr. Chandler, for some reason, recorded it and then sent a Snapchat, and whoever was on a recipient of the Snapchat then shared it, and it went viral, Your Honor. I think you may even remember this. It went not only across the country, but around the world. He wishes to plead guilty. He does not have a record. The state found that this crime was pretty bad, but we feel like our recommendation of a suspended YOA is appropriate in that he's young. This gives him a chance to learn a lesson, and then after so long, he'll have clean record, be employable, and hopefully he'll learn from this action trauma.
Okay. Those facts correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, find as a factual basis, your plea is really voluntary and admitted to. You've had advice of common counsel whom you tell me is satisfied. I'll accept your plea. Right.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Chandler's 20 years old. He lives in Barrow with his parents. Courtroom today, I have known her for longer than I care to recall. We went to high school together, I'm sure, and before that. So I have known him for a number of years. He is a farmer in the Barrow community, has been all of his life. Noah's grown up working on the farm. I think you've seen some letters that speak to his character. As Ms. Pierce told you, he has no prior criminal record. And Judge, you know, this is one of those things that hindsight is 20/20. You know, I think that the father here, certainly there is no question that some people could view that as cruelty. We're not disputing that, but Mr. Chandler's actions were not based on any attempt or intent to be cruel. My understanding is this was a beagle that was injured, and Mr. Chandler was putting it out of its misery, quite frankly, which happens sometimes. I think there's even been some testimony this week or last week in the Murdaugh case where they had to put down a dog. The problem is, for whatever reason, I don't know whether it was Mr. Chandler or somebody that was with him, videoed it, whatever, and then he didn't publish it to go viral. I think he was, you know, sending one of his friends, I had to put old blue down or whatever the scenario was, but it was dumb, quite frankly. It was dumb, and, you know, his intention was to ease this dog's suffering, but it was done in a distasteful manner and certainly meets the elements of the crime that the state is charged him with. He has never questioned it. There was never any denial about it. It was just, listen, I wasn't trying to be mean or cruel. I don't hate dogs. I love dogs. He has hunting dogs. You know, he is an animal lover. It's just a very poor choice of how to deal with the situation. So, based upon that, Your Honor, he is entering this plea, and we do believe that the recommendation, based on all the facts and circumstances, is appropriate. That certainly there needs to be some punishment and some recognition that what he did was not the best way to handle this situation. But he doesn't need to be punished forever. And so the suspended Y gives him the opportunity to show remorse, to experience some punishment, but not to lose freedoms and rights for the rest of his life that are important to him. So we would simply ask Your Honor to follow the recommendation of the state to sentence him to a YOA not to exceed 5 years, suspend that, and place him on probation for 18 months. I think that is a fair length of time. I checked with probation earlier. It used to be the rule several years ago, and perhaps prior to COVID, that if you got a suspended Y, there was an early termination clause where if you did it successfully for a year, it would terminate. Since they started giving compliance credits, they no longer do that. Ms. Rucker just advised me, so it's just standard compliance credits. That's why I'm asking for the 18-month probation, which will basically give him the benefit of the early termination that they no longer do. So we're asking the court for a YOA not to exceed 5 years, suspended to probation for 18 months.
Did he serve any time in jail?
Your Honor, he spent 1 day in jail, and he has been on house arrest, I believe, I don't have October 27th, since October 27th, on an electronic monitor, house arrest since October 27th.
Which is how many days?
Well, I'll trust Mama, 120.
Is that right, Mama?
If I add correctly, yes, sir.
121 days total, then, Your Honor, for the day he actually served it in the house arrest.
Okay. And you understand this is a $5,000 fine in this case, that it's not an arson. Some of the court you committed State Department correction under the Youth Offender Act not exceed 5 years and pay a fine of $5,000. Provided upon the service of 120 days time served and payment of $500, plus cost and substance, balance is suspended, placed on probation for 5 years, you can up that probation after 18 months. I gave you 5 years because of the fine scenario. If you want to stretch the payments out, but if you can pay it off and be off probation in 18 months, you understand? Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.